Wrestling fans, usually, usually, from start to finish, I come on here every Monday and Tuesday night for Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live reviews, and I tell you exactly, from top to bottom, exactly what I think about the show. No matter if it's positive or negative, I'm going to let you know exactly what I think. Monday Night Raw, for the most part, has been sinking. Now, I'm going to make this perfectly clear. Okay? If you are expecting me at the very beginning of this podcast to go off ranting, it's not going to happen. It's not. So if that's what you're looking for, I'm telling you right now, go find somebody else to watch. Go. There are plenty of other wrestling podcasters out there that are going to rant, moan, groan, and complain from top to bottom about Monday Night Raw tonight. Now, if you stick around for this Raw review, don't worry, there's going to be some stuff that I did not like about this show. But I'm just telling you, it's not starting off that way. I did do a podcast, a tribute, earlier this past week, about the greatest interviewer of all time, Mean Gene Okerlund. By far, the greatest. Tonight, WWE brought back the immortal Hulk Hogan to pay tribute to Mean Gene Okerlund, because Mean Gene passed away last week. Now, if you have been watching wrestling for any length of time, growing up in the 90s, 80s, so on and so forth, Mean Gene Okerlund has been a part of your childhood and life. You have welcomed Mean Gene Okerlund into your home. And Hulk Hogan has been right there with him, along with Jake the Snake Roberts, Macho Man Randy Savage, the Bushwhackers, amongst others. Everybody they showed on that clip. Some of you, and I know because I saw it on Twitter, looked at that and thought, politically driven garbage, in different words. That segment with Hulk Hogan tonight could not have been any better for Mean Gene Okerlund. The package they put together for Mean Gene Okerlund, Hulk Hogan cutting a promo right before they went into another segment. The package they did of Mean Gene at the very end was the Hall of Fame. And the funniest part of his Hall of Fame speech, all the funny little clips that he would do when he went off script, like Ric Flair winning the WWE Championship at the 1992 Royal Rumble, and he went off script and told somebody to put that cigarette out. Or when the set started falling apart and Mean Gene Okerlund cussed when he was interviewing Bobby the Brain Heenan and ravishing Rick Rude. Things of that nature. Now, one thing I wish they would have added was the 1991 Survivor Series. Jake the Snake Roberts and Mean Gene Okerlund. You are a sick man, Jake Roberts. Thank you very much. That would have been nice to see in the clip. But whatever the case, a lot of those memories I did grow up watching with Mean Gene Okerlund in my home. I welcomed him in my home. My dad turned on the television with me sitting there, and Mean Gene Okerlund was there on the TV interviewing all those superstars week in and week out. So I was okay with that segment. That was a tremendous segment. Quite frankly, some of you might find this a little bit corny, but when you have been a fan of the WWE or a fan of wrestling for as long as I have, 30 years now, and you see something like that, brought a couple tears in my eyes. I'm going to be honest with you. So, just wanted to open up this Raw review with that I thought it was a tremendous tribute to Mean Gene Okerlund. And I really hope that the majority of you out there did not diss that segment just because the immortal Hulk Hogan was the one paying tribute, because that was fitting, him being there paying the tribute. Okay. But now, on with the rest of Monday Night Raw. But before we do that, don't forget to become a subscriber today. Hit the bell for all notifications. Also, leave me a comment down below, and don't forget to hit that thumbs up. Would be much appreciated. And follow me on Facebook and Twitter at 2007Webby. That's also much appreciated by me and everybody else that helps make this channel what it is for you fans out there. Now, the rest of Monday Night Raw, quite frankly, WWE's proclaiming change, proclaiming we have the power. And when we look at Monday Night Raw, did we see much of change? Did we see any change at all, really, this week, this fresh start? Well, outside of Sasha Banks being the number one contender for the Raw Women's Championship, I'm going to have to tell you no. Absolutely not. Elias versus Baron Corbin. Almighty cringely embroiled in a rivalry with Seth Rollins. And no, I'm not because of Seth Rollins. I'm doing that because we're having to see one of the worst characters in WWE today, Almighty Cringely. We don't say its real name here. Embroiled with, by far, somebody that is carrying Monday Night Raw, Seth Rollins. Oh, and by the way, Seth Rollins has officially lost his Intercontinental Championship so-called rematch, seeing as how he beat Dean Ambrose earlier in the night and he got his rematch. Let's move on now. Let's give Seth Rollins something more of importance, like the Royal Rumble matchup, and see if he's going to go on and face Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship. You have two people that you are seriously pushing to the moon and teasing to see who they're going to face Brock Lesnar, and that is, quite frankly, Seth Rollins and AJ Styles. I know AJ Styles is facing Daniel Bryan, but does anybody really think AJ Styles is going to defeat Daniel Bryan at the Royal Rumble? He could very well lose to Daniel Bryan and still find himself in the Royal Rumble matchup. And if that's the case, presto changeo, you have two very big possibilities of winning the Royal Rumble match. And it makes it a little bit more unpredictable. Because as of right now, Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre are the two main favorites in my estimation if AJ Styles does not get put in the Royal Rumble match. Now, Apollo Crews and Ember Moon took on the modern day Felha Raja, Jinder Mahal, and Alicia Fox. Now, if there's one thing that we all need to learn how to do throughout the majority of Monday Night Raw still, that is Shanti. Because Monday Night Raw still is keeping us going through the same old garbage. And like I said last week, when Apollo Crews won this Battle Royal and then he had a shot at the Intercontinental Championship, how are we supposed to care about Apollo Crews when he's never been on TV, really, and then you stick him in this fresh start Battle Royal when Battle Royals aren't a fresh start, and then he gets the Intercontinental Championship, and now you're just continuing on this mixed match challenge stuff by having mixed match matches, mixed tag team matches. And I would be okay with that if it was superstars we actually cared about. But you're not going to get us to care about Apollo Crews or for that matter, Jinder Mahal, which I don't think anybody's ever going to care about Jinder Mahal again, by sticking them in mixed tag team matches. Quite frankly, seeing how you are pushing the women's revolution, I would much rather you have Ember Moon get an awesome push and be a number one contender for for Ronda Rousey at the February pay-per-view, Elimination Chamber. That would be something intriguing because as much as I'm happy that Sasha Banks is getting a number one contenders spot for the Royal Rumble, she's not winning. But speaking of Alexa Bliss, she had her own talk show, A Moment with Bliss. And it was kind of set up like The Tonight Show. Had, all the late night stuff on the Titantron and all that kind of stuff. Brought out Ronda Rousey after they showed the video package of her. And talked about how awesome her year has been so far. And Ronda Rousey wanted to face a person that's kind of been overlooked. Person that deserves a Raw Women's Championship matchup. And of course, Alexa Bliss had to point out herself that Ronda Rousey was talking about her. No, it's Sasha Banks. The next thing we know, the other Miss Cringeworthy herself, Miss I Like to Break Faces herself, Nia Jax. Which anybody who thought Nia Jax was going to win, I really don't know what you're watching, because there's a reason why they paired up Nia Jax and Tamina, and that's for the tag team division. Now, also a reason why they paired up Bayley and Sasha Banks. But how many times do we have to watch Nia Jax and Ronda Rousey? That's done. That's over. That's stale. So, Sasha Banks was going to win this. Sasha Banks comes out, pretty much laid down a challenge, and the match itself was stale. It was boring. It wasn't anything exciting. The only thing I'm going to give WWE here is at least, we did not have to watch 2 tag team matches or 2 6-woman tag team matches tonight on Monday Night Raw. Because every single week for the past 3-4 months, it seems like that's all we have seen. So it's nice for a change that they have mixed things up just a little bit. Whether the match was great or not. Because we all know it wasn't. John Cena on Raw tonight, and honestly, I can't get it's nice to see John Cena back when he comes back, because there's always that excitement level, right? But when he comes back, it's always the same thing. It really is. It's always the same thing. John Cena came back, and what did he do? He put himself in the Royal Rumble. The Royal Rumble, what's going to happen? More than likely, that is what's going to set up his match for WrestleMania. Will he win? No. He will not win the Royal Rumble matchup. But that spun off a 6-man tag team matchup to open up Monday Night Raw, in which we did see him, Finn Balor, and Seth Rollins victorious. And if there's any indication in the promo that happened before the 6-man tag team matchup between Drew McIntyre and John Cena, could very well see that at WrestleMania. Just saying. Because Drew McIntyre was saying the only thing he cares about is all the championships that he's won and him being a legend and all different types of things. And he took out Kurt Angle. And I was just thinking, this is right before the Royal Rumble. Look, Drew McIntyre could very well take out John Cena at the Rumble or vice versa. And then they set that angle up for WrestleMania. Would be a very good matchup. And from what we saw at last year's WrestleMania, John Cena, if he's going to be there, could actually use, in a lot of fans' minds, an actual good matchup. Because he got squashed last year. That's just my opinion. Braun Strowman and Brock Lesnar. Yeah. I don't care. And I know a lot of you fans out there don't care. Braun Strowman and Brock Lesnar is a big waste of time. And that's all I have to say about that. Braun Strowman and Brock Lesnar, I can't wait for it to be over January 27th. Braun Strowman is dead. His character's dead. Everything about Braun Strowman's character on Monday Night Raw is dead. Buried. There's no way he's winning at the Royal Rumble. None. Cringe. And I'm tired of seeing Brock Lesnar come out there and do the same old garbage every single time. And I'm sure you fans are too. He comes out. When he comes out, he walks around the ring, and then he goes on back, and there you go. That's the first time he's there for the build. The second time he's there, maybe we get a brawl, maybe we don't, and he does the same thing he did the first time he's there for the build. I'm tired of the garbage. I'm sure you are too. That's all I gotta say about it. The Royal Rumbles, let's get this done and over with as far as this matchup. And then we can move on to bigger and better things like WrestleMania. As far as the Intercontinental Championship is concerned, whatever. It's done. It's over with. Dean Ambrose won. Almighty Cringely cost Seth Rollins. Pick up that rivalry. Go into the Royal Rumble. Have that kind of disintegrate at the Royal Rumble because nobody wants to see that. And then give Seth Rollins something more important to do. We want change in the WWE. And next week, why don't we have an intro to Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live, where you open it with music and the superstars' pictures and things like that, like you used to do. That would be cool to see. This is Webby. Hope you enjoyed this. If you did, do everything that I mentioned at the beginning of this podcast. And until I see you again, this is Webby. And I'll catch you on the other side. Talk to you later.